I want to say, first of all, how much I sympathise with people who've been worried about their journeys, worried about whether they'll be able to use their cars in the normal way to see their loved ones or whatever it is. And I know how frustrating and infuriating it must have been to worry about a shortage of petrol or fuel. We now are starting to see the situation improve. We're hearing from industry that supplies are coming back onto the forecourts in the normal way. And I would just really urge everybody to just go about their business in the normal way and fill up in the normal way when you really need it, and things will start to improve. What we want to do is make sure that we have all the preparations necessary to get through till Christmas and beyond, not just in the supplying the petrol stations, but all parts of our supply chain. You're seeing the global economy really sucking in a huge amount of demand at the moment for gas, for lorry drivers. There are shortages around the world. It's affecting countries across the world, but we've got to make sure we have everything in place as the recovery continues, and that's what we're doing.
You did say that this would be short term. Now you're saying that there could be problems to Christmas and beyond.
Well, I don't want you to put words into my mouth here, Sam. We want to make sure that as the economy continues to recover, and as we continue to see things, the global recoveries suck in demand of all kinds, whether for gas or for lorry drivers, that the UK is prepared and we have a plan. That's why we've done what we've done on relaxing the competition rules and making sure that we have more drivers available should we need them. That's only prudent. But I would just stress that on the forecourts, the situation is stabilising, and people should be confident and just go about their business in their normal way.
One of the most difficult aspects of this is seeing reports of doctors, of nurses, medics struggling to get fuel to go about their business. Isn't it right that they get a chance to jump the queue?
I understand why people say that, but with the situation now stabilising, with things getting better on the forecourts, I think the best thing is if everybody we stabilise it in the normal way.
Are all the solutions to the truck driver shortages in place now? Have you got any other contingencies in mind? Are you preparing for the potential that it gets worse?
I think what happened with the fuel issue, with the petrol pump business, was that unfortunately there was a slightly misleading account of something which got leaked and caused a big, totally understandable surge in public demand. We think we can, the actual number of lorry drivers that were short in that particular sector isn't very big, but generally there is a shortage in that profession around the world, and what we want to see is an emphasis on high wage, a high skill, a high productivity approach to our economy. What I don't think people in this country want to do is fix all our problems with uncontrolled immigration again. We tried that for a long time, 20 years or so, perhaps longer. And in the end, people could see that it was leading to a low-wage, low-skill approach without enough investment in people or in equipment, in capital. And that's not the way we want the UK to develop and grow.
Shortages push up prices, inflation is up, energy costs up. People are going to be hard-pressed this autumn. For those worried about the cost of living, do you understand the pressures on families? Is there any signal that you can give that you're looking at that issue ahead of the autumn statement?
Which is why we're emphasising so much what we've done on the living wage, making sure that we've increased that by a record amount. But while we're also, I'm pleased that after 10 years or more, 12, 13 years of wages flatlining, particularly for low-paid people, you're now starting to see an increase in wages. And I think people in this country do deserve to be paid decently. It's one of the things we fought for and campaigned for. And you're now starting to see an increase in people's wages of maybe 4% above where we were before the pandemic. Now, I think that is a good thing. And what I don't want our country to do is to go back to, which is what I think some people would rather see. Some people would rather see us suppress those wages with a huge amount of low-wage, low-skill immigration.
But no more government help for hard-pressed families in the coming weeks and months.
We'll do whatever we can, as we've said throughout the pandemic, to help people. But the best way we can help people is to get them into high-wage employment. And there you're starting to see real signs of progress. Our plan for jobs is working. You're seeing growth in employment, huge falls in unemployment. And as I say, you're seeing wages considerably above where they were before the pandemic.
Prime Minister, you have to pinch yourself. We've got a gas price hike, trucker shortages, food shortages, queues, the army on standby. You'd call this a crisis if anybody else was in Downing Street, wouldn't you?
What we've got is a global economy that is recovering from what has been a once-in-a-century pandemic. And that has caused some particular shortages. I've mentioned a couple, HGV drivers and gas. And those shortages are a function of huge global demand. But we're meeting them. And what we have is all sorts of plans in place to make sure that as we go forward into the new year, that we have everything necessary to protect our supply chains and keep things moving. But as I said, what we're seeing now and what we're hearing now from industry is that the situation on the forecourts in our petrol stations is stabilising.